To Fast and Factual on Firstpost, where we get you the top 50 stories from around the world. I'm Alison LaGrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin. Now we start with the latest from the U.S. elections. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has claimed victory in the elections. He addressed his supporters in West Palm Beach, Florida. In his victory speech, Trump said it was political victory that the U.S. has never seen. Trump recalled the assassination attempts that he faced during his election campaign. While addressing his supporters, Trump said that God saved his life for a reason, and that is to restore America's greatness. Trump faced 2 reported attempts on his life in July and September. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance thanked Donald Trump for allowing him to join his campaign. Speaking alongside Trump in Florida, Vance said he is grateful for Trump's trust. Vance called Trump's projected election victory as the greatest political comeback in the history of the USA. Donald Trump also thanked his tech billionaire Elon Musk during his speech. Trump called Musk a genius and says a star is born. Tesla CEO Elon Musk reportedly spent election night with Donald Trump. He had publicly campaigned for Trump, further cementing his support for the former president. And tech billionaire Elon Musk posted several updates for his followers on the social media platform X. Musk claimed that the American people have given a clear mandate to the Republican candidate. He wrote, and I quote, "America is a nation of builders. Soon you will be free to build." Elon Musk was one of the most vocal supporters of former President Trump in the 2024 campaign. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi took to social media to congratulate Donald Trump on his win. Prime Minister Modi addressed Trump as his friend and touted his win as historic. He looks forward to strengthening India's relationship with the U.S. Prime Minister Modi ended his message with the hope of promoting global peace, stability, and prosperity. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu also congratulated Trump. He took to the social media platform X and said, "Congratulations on history's greatest comeback." Macron congratulated Trump. The French President Emmanuel Macron also congratulated him. He said he is ready to work with Trump for more peace and prosperity. And Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban also took to social media. Orban called Trump's projected election win a much-needed victory for the world. China said it hopes for peaceful coexistence with the United States. This comes as Donald Trump nears a decisive victory over Kamala Harris. The Chinese Foreign Ministry stated, "We will continue to approach China-U.S. relations based on mutual respect." A Foreign Ministry spokesperson added that their policy toward the United States has been consistent. And U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson extended his thanks to Donald Trump. Johnson congratulated him and called him the president-elect. Opinion polls for weeks had shown a cutthroat competition between Trump and his Democratic rival Kamala Harris. But early projections after the polling closes showed Trump on the verge of beating Harris in a remarkable White House comeback. And moving on to developments from the swing states, Donald Trump has secured the biggest battleground prize with projected victory in Pennsylvania. The swing state has a total of 19 electoral votes. A win in Pennsylvania is most important for the final winner of the presidential elections. The state was previously won by Joe Biden in 2020. Donald Trump is also projected to win the swing state of North Carolina. There are 16 electoral votes at stake in the key battleground state. North Carolina has consistently elected a Republican presidential candidate since 2012. And with Donald Trump, the state appears to have kept up with the trend this time as well. And Donald Trump is also projected to win the battleground state of Georgia. A win in Georgia will give him a total of 16 electoral votes. The state had voted for a Republican presidential candidate for 30 years between 1990 and 2020. The former president lost Georgia to Joe Biden in 2020, but this time Trump has managed to flip the state for his Republican Party. Donald Trump is leading against Kamala Harris in all 7 battleground states. Apart from Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, Trump is also ahead in Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, and Wisconsin. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris has failed to win any of the 7 swing states. In the western United States, the votes are being counted in the swing state of Nevada. While Donald Trump is leading in Nevada, a winner from the state is yet to be projected. Nevada has a total of 6 electoral votes. And a wave of celebrations has taken over Donald Trump supporters across the United States. The celebrations follow Trump's unprecedented leads over Harris in the swing states. Trump supporters in Florida erupted with joy after a TV network projected that the Republican has won the presidency. U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris is projected to secure victory in the state of California. California adds 54 electoral votes to her total. Harris has garnered over 60% of the votes from the Democratic stronghold. And U.S. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris is also likely to win the state of New York, and this would fetch the presidential hopeful 28 electoral votes. Till now, Harris has secured over 55% of the votes from the state. Kamala Harris's campaign says the vice president will not speak on vote counting night. This as she trails Donald Trump in the race for the White House. Harris would address supporters and the nation tomorrow from Howard. And Donald Trump is all set to win in the deep south state of Florida. Now, early projections have called Florida's 30 electoral votes for the Republican. This victory marks the 3rd consecutive election win for him in the state. Once a crucial swing state, Florida has increasingly leaned Republican in recent elections. And Donald Trump alleged cheating in the crucial state of Pennsylvania. Taking to his social media platform Truth Social, he wrote, "Law enforcement coming." However, an official from Philadelphia denied the claim and called it an example of disinformation. The district attorney also rejected the unsubstantiated allegation and asked Trump to provide evidence if he had any. Trump made such claims in 2020 election as well, when he lost to the current president, Joe Biden. And Trump had previously reiterated that he would concede defeat if it's a fair election. He made the statement after casting his vote in Florida. Trump also said that he was very confident of winning back the White House. The former president also believed that he ran a great campaign against his Democratic rival and Vice President Kamala Harris. In Milwaukee, nearly 30,000 absentee ballots were recounted, and this happened as the doors on the ballot tabulators were not properly contained. Election officials say this recounting was done out of an abundance of caution. The election commissioner said, and I quote, "This was a snafu in the process." And United States received bomb threats at several polling sites on Election Day. The Federal Bureau of Investigation noted that these bomb threats appeared to be originating from Russian email domains. Threats were majorly directed toward 5 swing states. In fact, Georgia's Fulton County police chief said that the location received at least 32 bomb threats. However, the FBI said in a statement that the threats didn't turn out to be credible. Russia has denied these accusations. In Ireland's capital city of Dublin, a group of pro-Palestine protesters started marching outside the U.S. Embassy at an election night watch party that was being held inside the embassy in Dublin. The protesters waved flags of Palestine and banners highlighting the Israel-Palestinian conflict, and the police then set up barricades to contain the situation. The 2024 U.S. election is not just about choosing a president. Between Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Kamala Harris, The US is also electing a new House of Representatives, with all 435 seats up for grabs. Voters will also choose 34 out of 100 Senate seats. Meanwhile, issues like abortion rights and the recreational use of marijuana are also on the ballot in several US states. The Republicans won the US Senate with key wins in West Virginia and Ohio. Control of the House remains uncertain, with Republicans holding a slim majority for now. Now, this Senate win allows Republicans to support Trump's potential agenda, including appointing conservative judges or to block Kamala Harris's plans if she wins the presidency. Now, in the election for Congress, Democrats have flipped 2 House seats from Republicans. Both of these districts are in the state of New York. Democrat Josh Riley defeated Republican incumbent Mark Molinaro in New York's 19th Congressional District. Meanwhile, Democrat State Senator John Mannon won New York's 22nd Congressional District. And Sarah McBride has made history by becoming the first openly transgender person elected to the U.S. Congress. The Delaware State Senator won a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, marking a significant milestone for LGBTQ+ representation in American politics. And Delaware's U.S. Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester won her Senate race, making history as the first woman and the first black individual to represent Delaware in the chamber. She will be joining Maryland Democrat Angela Alsobrooks, also secured a Senate seat, marking reportedly the first instance of 2 black women being elected to the Senate simultaneously. And Florida voters rejected a measure to overturn the state's 6-week abortion ban, which would have allowed the procedure until fetal viability. The ballot initiative, requiring at least 60% support to pass, was held alongside the presidential election but fell short. According to reports, Florida was one of 10 states with abortion-related referendums on the ballot. And in California, people voted to crack down on shoplifting and drug possession crimes. They approved a ballot measure called the Proposition 36. It calls for strict punishment offenses like shoplifting and drug possession. It also calls for the creation of a treatment program for people with multiple drug possession offenses. Critics say the measure would roll back a criminal justice reform passed in the state in 2014. And the First Lady of the U.S., Jill Biden, made a statement by casting her ballot in a bold red outfit, a color typically associated with the Republican Party and support for Donald Trump. Now, this choice stood in contrast to the blue traditionally representing her husband, President Joe Biden's Democratic Party. And moving on to news from elsewhere, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has dismissed his Defense Minister Yoav Gallant amid growing differences over the country's handling of the Gaza war. Netanyahu cited eroded trust and public disagreements as reasons for the firing. He has appointed Foreign Minister Israel Katz as the new defense chief. And on to some business news. Stock markets have also reacted to the U.S. election results. The Asian stock market opened on a high note today. Japan's Nikkei 225 rose 2%. In India, the Sensex and the Nifty also rose over 1%. And market indices in China and Australia also rose. Only Hong Kong's Hang Seng declined over 2%. And overnight, Wall Street also ended with gains. The Dow Jones climbed about 1%, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq rose over 1% each. Futures index of the U.S. stock market also surged today. Analysts say the market is leaning toward a Trump victory in this election. The currency markets also showed a similar trend, displaying high volatility. The US dollar rose about 1.4% against 6 major currencies. The European Union's euro and Japan's yen dropped against the dollar. The Indian rupee also touched fresh record low at 84.24. And the Mexican currency, the peso, was the hardest hit by the US election results. It sank over 2% to 20.77 against the dollar. This is the lowest the Mexican currency has been since 2022. The peso dropped as election results showed Republican Donald Trump gaining in the polls, and Trump has promised to impose high tariffs on Mexican exports. Meanwhile, the cryptocurrency Bitcoin jumped to reach a new all-time high. The world's largest virtual currency rose over 8% to $74,659, although it sank below that level shortly after. Bitcoin has surged in the lead up to Election Day and topped $73,000 last week. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
Very much. Wow.